Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You're watching Flash Pages, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. We have a killer show for you today. We're going to be talking about Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange in Triumph and Torment. Also, and I think my speaker's on. That's not good. I'll fix that. Also, we're going to be talking about the new Gotham Knights teaser trailer. What everybody thought about that. Thank you, Jar. Be a fun show. Speaking of that, Drew, how's it going, bud?
Sorry, I was told it's impolite to speak when I'm chewing. Hey, everyone. Glad to be here. Got a great show. Leo's mics are whacked.
Yeah, I'll fix it. Jar.
Howdy. My hair is whacked.
I was just about to say.
Whoa. Maybe if I... Yeah. Hey, hold on. Yeah. Very nice. That's better.
So,
hold on. I'll try this. There we go.
there you go.
Perfect.
Nothing lasts horrible hair like headphones. But
So I sent you guys something that dropped today. The Gotham Knights
I don't want to talk about
teaser
it.
trailer. Oh my god, that looks so god awful.
Okay. I have one question regarding it. And I feel Jeremy and I feel Leo, you will back me up on this. What is so hard about following the comics? What is so hard about just taking inspiration from the books, your own characters, and then doing your little cute spin? Why do we have to create a new character who no one's ever heard?
Oh,
And-
multiple new characters, right?
multiple new characters you've never heard, and then we legitimize it with one or two characters we have heard of. So in this one, and kids, please, if you really want, I recommend at least 2 shots before you watch this trailer. I didn't, and I feel so drunk already. You have Bruce Wayne's son, who isn't named Damian.
Yeah,
which
I
is
was...
the first
Oh, so apparently
I actually replayed it to make sure. I was like, who the fuck's Turner?
It's Turner Classic.
so he's listed as Bruce Wayne's adopted son.
I missed that.
Still
No, yeah, that's in the Wikipedia.
You know who else was his adopted son? Richard, Jason, Timothy.
I've heard of all these people.
You know,
But
let's see, even Stephanie, Cassandra, Barbara. Well, Barbara wasn't, but for the sake of this argument,
Exactly. Unless we're talking about the animated Killing Joke, and then that
we don't talk about that.
oh yeah,
But,
no.
but and then you have these, like, okay, you have the Joker's daughter.
I before I rewatched it, I heard Carrie Kelly. I was like, oh, okay, I know that name. And the Joker's daughter, yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I feel I have to say it's still probably one of the worst things to come out of the New 52 in terms of Batman.
It was totally unnecessary.
No disrespect to those who identify with the character and cosplayed at it, but whatever. And I feel bad because Misha Collins is a great actor, and it's nice to see him in something that he's speaking in a normal tone that's not Castiel from Supernatural. But it's just, yet again, it's like, why are these great actors in this thing that, honestly, I would be surprised if we see a season 2.
Teen drama, like I'm.
So
aren't we done with these kind of superhero, like?
Well, no, dude.
flaky?
okay, here's my theory. So you know, a lot of people.
Multiverse.
No. Yeah,
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Excuse me. It's pronounced Neron in the DC universe. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Sorry.
And why is Harvey? That is Harvey Dent. He's playing
Yes,
Harvey
it
Dent,
is.
right? Why is
Mhm.
he a detective? Am I confused? Is he's a cop in this? No.
See, what I'm thinking is Batman is not dead. I think he's in a coma, and this is a nightmare.
Under Superman's statue.
There we go.
Yeah.
You know?
The robot's working on him. It's okay. It'll be good. It's like Bane broke his back.
I'm just, you know what? I'm just thinking, brother. It's all brother eye. That's what I'm thinking. But all jokes aside, I'm sorry. If I was giving that stars, I would be about half of one.
Oh,
Like,
If it was a completely different show, I
maybe.
might have
Just the
been
first
like,
episode.
yeah, I've been like, okay, it's CW, so probably not going to be good anyways. But
Mhm.
well, hold off there.
sorry.
No. So we know. I mean, CW started the Berlanti verse started off strong. You know, Arrow, Flash, and whatnot. Supergirl, but then it turns into teen drama and just
Yeah, every
utter
single one.
crap. But
Okay, Smallville.
well, no, Smallville was
I liked Smallville at the end and at the beginning.
the
The middle was kind of. Oof.
Yeah, but you have to agree that a lot of that.
Hold on, can I get my theory out here?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so here's my theory.
The ADD is real tonight. Sorry.
So I Berlanti, did he have well, I'm thinking that everything got toned back in Superman and Lois because that show is phenomenal. We're getting awesome DC characters with no teen drama. So my thought was that, this is probably like the last of the CW efforts that Berlanti is putting like all the teen drama into this. Like what was supposed to go into Smallville plus then some.
With actual teens where the drama makes sense. Because I'm sorry, your dad is Superman and you grow up thinking you don't have superpowers, but your brother does. That's a legit gripe.
Oh yeah.
I'd be kind of pissed off, like, if I was Turner and like finding out Carrie Kelly's like hanging out with my dad while I'm like, I mean, he's my adopted dad, but still, like, how come she knows that he's Batman and I'm?
Listen, I saw that, and I just, it's just one of those where I just think to me it just comes off as lazy, There are so many good Batman comics that you could do that don't involve Batman. Like Gotham Central is a great example. That's Greg Rucka's book. He talks about
Gotham Academy.
There you go, Gotham Academy. It's just as the same, in a different degree. But Gotham Central was about the detectives, the cops in Gotham, and it was written like a crime noir. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. It's kind of like
Ben Temple-Smith did
Cowards by Bendis and Omen.
Cool. I gotta check that out. Powers is really good. I like that.
You have detectives investigating super crimes. So, something different, but still you can reference current events within the DC universe, but it's still its own little niche. This, it's like it's sugar gum pop when we didn't need it. And like, again, if there are people who really want to watch it, hey, all power to you. Me,
I bet you the 12 to 18 are going to probably dig it a little bit for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then go out and party and do whatever they're supposed to be doing at 12 through 18.
Fair enough. So moving on.
I was kind of mad that you sent that right up before the show.
Sorry.
Reading Strange and Doom, and then I'm like, oh.
I will say this. Speaking of current events, I believe everyone's here has watched the 2 episodes of Kenobi.
Yes.
3 times.
Twice for me.
I think we can agree that since the show is still not finished, we should discuss anything in a non-spoiler review.
Yeah.
I do
Well,
I
have
want
questions,
we
but
have
that's
to we have to discuss the opening scene though, where the Padawans are saving Baby Yoda, and we get to
what?
see.
Oh, is that? Oh, right. And then,
I was
and
like,
then,
hold on, did I miss?
and then Doc Brown shows up in the Mandalorian and says,
Yeah.
"Honey, get in. We've got to save the Mandalorian." You know, that's just all sorts of John. That's just all sorts of composing nightmares. John Williams and Alan Silvestri. I mean, talk about a duel of fates. More like a duel of composers. But listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm 2 episodes in. I think I'm enjoying it more than I did Boba Fett. I'm just going to say that. Boba Fett did warm up over time, and I do feel it ended strong. However, this one's 2 episodes in. It's great to see Ewan back as the character, and I personally love when the original actor is still doing it. That's how I felt.
More
James
than
Earl
more than one original character. Well,
Oh,
actually,
true.
well, in the
Spare some
first,
change.
so we actually saw 3 original characters
We do.
played by their original actors.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Hold on,
I also
isn't that 4?
listen. We can discuss this later.
Because we're on the sand planet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, okay. Tom says he has one complaint, but he won't spoil it.
I have one complaint too. I have a
Thank
lot
you,
of
Tom.
questions, but I also will not ask them here
Well,
on.
you
Okay,
got the. Wait, hold on. I got to point correctly.
Let me.
You got the Star Encyclopedia here, so I'm sure.
Oh no. We'll. Are we gonna do? I don't think we should. It's only
No.
been like 3 days, right?
Damn it!
Like I want to. I really do, because like I have like so many
No.
questions that I want to pick apart. But also I have to say, by the end of episode 2, I was like, I can't wait for episode 3.
Jeremy,
Like,
I'm gonna quote PCU. Don't be that guy at a band show wearing the shirt of the band that he's going to see. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, but with spoilers. No. Sit down. Frank, sit down. Sit down.
So just real quick, you guys caught who the bum was, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was clever. Like, the one thing I will say is I enjoy that we see the evolution of Obi-Wan, and to me, I just enjoy grumpy, not so, but kind of getting their grandpa in the desert, like antisocial, just kind of still dealing with everything that happened in episode 3. To remind you, kids, that's where this takes place, between episode 3 and 4. And don't worry, Disney Plus already has you covered, because they have a prequel package where you can watch all of the Obi-Wan stuff.
The catch-up scene in the beginning where it like brings you up to.
I like that.
Yeah, that
Actually,
they did.
that was good.
Yeah,
It was.
So we can say this literally takes place at the very end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
That's where it starts off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, well, no,
And then-
actually, 10 years later.
And then we jump 10 years into the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I will say I do like some of these new characters I'm seeing. The writing's solid. Nothing feels forced or, in my opinion, trying to win points. Everything's very natural, moving at a nice pace. And there is one character who is a beloved character whose interactions with Obi-Wan, in my mind, kind of make the show. That's all I'm going to say. She's
agree.
very cute. She's very cute. She's very snarky. That's all I will say. But she's a great, and I'm looking forward to episode 3. So far, again, to me, this looks pretty solid. I know I've seen somewhat mixed reviews. Some people really loved the first 2 episodes. Some people felt that it was a little overblown, missing the mark. But let's be real here. Star Wars fans are very critical of things. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but Star Wars had to make a post telling fans to really kind of stop being racist, because I think the new characters.
Stop being racist.
I
I don't
unfortunately,
think Star Wars fans will ever stop doing that, but like, good try.
one of the new Sith characters spoke about a lot of course, social media backlash, because the internet is a cesspool of stupidity and prejudice at times. And
the female or male character?
Female. So question about that character. Again, without spoiling it, we're talking about Obi-Wan right now. That character, do you believe they were part of the group in the very beginning?
I wonder about that. Yeah.
It's either that or it's something that it's definitely going to be a flashback some point during the show. And I also want to comment that I do really love that these Star Wars episodes are not going past 10 episodes. I think that's honestly the perfect.
I actually like the whole 6 to 8 episodes. It's kind of like
6 mini movies, kind of like what Netflix did with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
So watching the first 2 episodes, and this is not a spoiler, this just made me think about Obi-Wan in general and the Star Wars series in general. Okay. Do you think, obviously they're rewriting some stuff or going deeper into some of the lore, but the way Obi-Wan dies in Star Wars, spoiler alert, it made me think.
I'm only on episode 3.
Sorry. It made me think, could he have been, and this probably wasn't shown, force projecting? Did he not? Maybe he didn't leave Tatooine. Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
The way that Yoda passed and stuff, that would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, Tom.
I don't know. I think that's wishing too much, you know?
Well, I'm just trying to think about what Disney is going to do as they try to repair some.
Ben had finished what he was meant to do, and Ben was like,
Leo,
I'm done.
Leo, when it comes to Star Wars, you should change your name from Leo Pond to the King of Wishful Thinking. Okay?
I'm just trying to think ahead, because
talk about the King of Wishful Thinking here. Right here. Jar Jar was in the preview up to the show starting. Do you think we'll get a Where's Jar Jar now?
I wouldn't be mad at that, because I do think it's interesting, because when that character first came out, there was such huge negative backlash. I mean, the voice actor alone at one point admitted that he considered committing suicide, because just there was so much intense hate for his character. And later on, he's got a fan base. I've been a fan since the beginning.
He isn't as well. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks. I don't really know the actor too well, but
but and again, I think that's another case of fans misdirecting their annoyance at things. It's the same thing that happened with Jake Lloyd, who was Anakin in episode 1, and even Hayden Christensen. They got so much hate for their performances, but the person that I was like, okay, you shouldn't be really annoyed at them. You should kind of be more annoyed at the writer and director of that, George Lucas.
I think Hayden Christensen's character made total sense. A whiny, kind of petulant, like that's the makings of a Sith Lord. Like this kid that like nothing's fair, like my whole life's been strife and like not that like he's wrong, but just like
and also on top of it, when you talk about Anakin, you see the progression, you see the things that led him down that. I mean, there were already signs going down. Like, let's just be real here. In episode 2, again, spoilers, but it's been over 10 years, so please get over it. When he loses his mother, that to me was, I feel the descent. You already saw some darkness, but that was what
Oh yeah.
really sent him over.
It's just like, what the fuck?
I will also say this. Apparently, no matter what, Uncle Owen is still kind of an ass in any iteration. But this time you have to remember he didn't make any promises, because that was his downfall in episode 4, remember? It's last month. I promise. I'm like, yeah, right, Ben. Yeah.
I like how he called for. Well, we know in the trailer that Luke's in this, but the way he called for Luke was like the same way that he called for Luke in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that callback. There was definitely some very subtle callbacks. The way Obi-Wan scratching his beard and certain things like that.
I think again, I'm fine with subtle. I'm fine with those little Easter eggs that you will notice, but it's not obnoxious. Like there's some Easter eggs, it's like, oh my God, we got it. It's like, oh, okay, that's a reference. Cool. When it's casually thrown in, you're like, oh, okay, nice. And keep going. Speaking of
just one question. I want to know if either of you thought of this. The alert system for his.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah,
because the other one, I was wondering if we saw in the background on the other planet there, like not.
Yeah, we saw him.
It was definitely.
I
know.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
Because this would make sense about. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So the alert system, and I posted this in the comments. Do you think that's another character that wasn't shown?
I was wondering about that,
but
because it makes sense for
and it looks
the way Obi-Wan transported himself to where he is.
I will say this, when we can talk about it, I have one. It's not really a gripe. It's more of a what the hell comment about. I think it's the second episode, or it's the first one. I'm not really sure, but it's when we can talk about it. We got to give it a little time. But there was one moment I was like, I'm sorry, what? But honestly, a solid start. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it. And I just want to point out, everybody, let's just let Obi-Wan find its footing. Let's not do it's not Mando. I'm like, okay, excuse me. Nobody saw Mando coming. So let's not play that, please. Let's try to be above that for once.
With any fandom, there are some bad actors, and
I just like this is gonna have. It has so many ways it can go right now. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. So I mean, well, sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
No, fine. No. I was gonna move to the next topic, but if there's still more we want to talk about,
I was just gonna say that Disney is definitely not poison, but poised these shows to certainly be a bridge between the sequels. Obi-Wan is taking place between the first prequel and then the original saga. And obviously, Mandalorian, Boba Fett is, bridge between the last two. It's sorry, go ahead.
No, Leo, I want you to finish. This is not just me. Also, I'm chewing, so keep talking.
Oh, yeah. I just find it interesting that, there are a lot of fans that hate the final trilogy and hate the prequels. You also have a fan base that grew up with the prequels and, not really fans of the original saga. I think what they're doing is they're trying to bridge the fandoms. It definitely seems that way. Because watching this, you're definitely looking at the prequels totally different. I know I am. Same thing for Mando and Boba Fett. looking at, Star Wars Episode 6, which was considered definitely one of the weaker ones, looking at that differently.
Mhm.
It's definitely, obviously revisiting the past, but, just allowing us to have a new appreciation for it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But I will take that wonderful note to then transition to something else I'd like to discuss. I saw this weekend past the new Top Gun movie.
Did you
New,
sign up for
Top Gun
the
Maverick.
Did you sign up for the Navy?
I did not, but I found that really funny learning about how they got such high recruitment for the next 2 to 3 years because of that movie.
Oh yeah. I have to tell you, when I saw that, like I wanted
You
to
joined
join
the
the Navy.
Navy?
I
Really?
wanted to. I wanted to, and my mom was like, "No, you're not joining the military."
Again, it's just came out, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but I have to say this is one of the better long-awaited sequels I've seen in a while. The cast is superb. Tom Cruise's character, they could have just made him just do just essentially a repeat of Top Gun, but they had a really nice angle there. They bring back some characters that were unexpected. Miles Teller playing Rooster, who is his former wingman Goose's son, does a terrific job. There is a lot of wonderful homages to the original, but it's not as corny and cheesy, because let's just be real here, as lovable as the original Top Gun is, it's 80s cheese.
Oh hell
Like
yeah!
there are some moments that you're like, really?
They play
I will
volleyball.
also say this.
Like they play volleyball, like 80s cheese.
Yes,
all the
they
way.
do. They do have their own version of that. I will also say this: the way that they incorporated Val Kilmer in the film as Iceman was really well done. And at the time that he was filming it, Val was still recovering from throat cancer. So, he can barely speak. And the way that they still made his character integral to the struggles that Maverick was dealing with, just the whole story in general, it was really great. And if you guys can see it, more time passed, there is a tidbit that I learned about it that just made me respect those scenes so much more. So honestly, if you're a fan of the movie, if you're just looking for something that's really fun, that's really very old school. Tom Cruise had a big contribution to this, and his main rule was that everything is practical. So there's very little to no CGI in this. So you see them in those jets, they're really flying that stuff. Yeah, but it really wowed me. I did see it in IMAX though, so literally when those jets would fire, I felt like I was right there. So
Nice.
at some point I was like, "Oh, it's great. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Nice."
So without just, you mentioned Val Kilmer, just real quick, I heard that they used, I think, like 10 AI programs to like digitize his voice.
Okay, see, Leo, that's exactly what the thing I was going to talk about later, but someone doesn't understand a spoiler. So,
Well, you
yes,
mentioned he's in it. It's just
You
but
mother.
yeah, there is a scene where
I'm sitting here just like I didn't see Top Gun yet, mother.
there's a scene where he's talking to Maverick, and he does speak. And I found later on that and it's amazing because I had no idea, they used programs to essentially recreate his voice, because he really couldn't talk the whole time. So the whole time, most of his performance is with his face. And as we've seen, very few actors, Carl Urban and Dredd being one of them, can really pull off a dynamite performance with just limited to no facial expressions. And he did a great job. I mean, Val Kilmer, say what you will about the man and his career, his ups and downs, he's still really one of the best. And this movie really proved it. So honestly, that gets, I would say, 4.5 stars out of 5 for me. I really recommend everybody please go see it. And a ton of people are. It broke a ton of records opening weekend. So
That's cool.
as Tom noted, thank you again, Tom. This guy's like our fifth Splash Pages guy. He's our fifth Beatle. But I'm trying to think if there's anything. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys are flashing?
Do you think they'll have Val and Willow?
Yeah, they did say that his character will be coming back for Willow.
Are you serious?
I believe that's what I heard.
Drew, I just fell in love with you.
I know. It's okay. It's the beard.
I watched the trailer the other day and I was just like, oh my God, the only sad thing is that there won't be any Mad Mardian.
No, I believe that they talked about that with him. I don't know if that's true though. So
I mean, they'd have to give us an update of what happens at least, because like last we knew, he's ruling Terrace Lee.
I mean, you know, oh, there was also one thing I saw that was really awesome. I don't have the image of it, but I wish I did because I saw this artist do this fantastic crossover battle piece. And I'm like, why is this a comic? It was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the Street Sharks. Oh, and I was like, cool. This would be, I would read the crap out of that comic. You know? And I'm just thinking logically, I was like, you had the Turtles crossover with Ghostbusters. I could have sworn the Power Rangers at one point. You know, so, I'm sure there's been others. Oh, Batman. You know, all these others, like, why not the Street Sharks, who were literally kind of inspired by them?
Savage Dragon.
You know, yes, Savage Dragon. Like, literally, they're inspired by them. Like, the Street Sharks, the joke is that they'll eat anything, but they hate pizza, which was a nod to the Turtles, because, you know, Turtles love pizza. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, IDW, like, jump on that. Like, make kid nostalgia goals, because it, beyond the show, nothing really happened beyond the television show for Street Sharks, if I'm correct.
Drew,
right?
You should write it and send it into IDW.
Oh, no. If I did, there would have to be a Vin Diesel cameo, because that blew my mind. I saw him selling it in the commercial. Seriously, kids,
Christ.
If anyone's watching and you're like, what the fuck, is that true? Look up Street Sharks commercial.
Yeah, it is. That's
Vin Diesel selling the shit out of those toys. And like, what the fuck? It's amazing.
Well, that's like Jack Black in the Zelda commercial?
Yeah, there's that.
I didn't know that.
Or Paul Rudd in a Nintendo commercial.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that was random. But no, sorry. Before we move on, the best Zelda commercial, hands down, Robin Williams and his daughter Zelda.
Yeah.
It was a great commercial. Jeremy, look, if you look that one up, it might make you sad. So
it probably will.
You know, it was.
I'm
really
probably going to look it up anyways.
Oh, I'm telling you, you look it up. It's super cute.
I was unaware of such a thing being.
Well, you know, he named his daughter Zelda after the game, so it made sense. Yeah, but I have to be honest with you guys. Again, I was just so busy with things. I didn't get a chance to look up any of the news, so I'm just gonna do what I normally do, just piggyback off YouTube.
Well, so this broke just before the show. Joe Quesada is leaving Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's been there
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years. You know, and his editorship. You know, there were highs and there were lows, which every editor in the world. But listen. Say what you will about the man, despite his flaws and whatnot, he really did care about Marvel. There was always an appreciation there. And I say the same thing about former DC editor Dan DiDio, who, fun fact, kids, will be at Terrificon, which we all three might end up being at. So we can tell the men themselves there. The love was there. It's just, it's a thankless job being an editor. You know, you're both the hero and the villain, because for every 5 people happy with your decision, you will have 10 people who think you're scum. You know, for every great thing you do, you will have a one more day. you know, and by God, did Quesada get flack for that one? Yep, not going to say anything more on that.
No
Because
worries.
it feels wrong not talking about it without Dr. Chris being here. But I don't know what I mean. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, you guys are fans like me, so you know Quesada. What do you
I
guys think?
haven't read Marvel very much in the past 20 years, except for like Star Wars stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed definitely nothing bad I can say about the guy.
Right.
Like I think 20 years is if to get 20 years under your belt as editor of any company is an achievement, like beyond anything I could ever. So
And think about how much comics have changed in that time. I mean, you know,
exactly,
2000s. I
for
mean,
real,
a lot was going on then.
we've become woke. It's the
2000.
evil word, but we're woke now.
Stop it.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
it's fine. So, Leo, is there any other news?
No, other than new comics.
New comic.
Go
Oh,
for it.
that looks like a throwback action logo.
I know. So yeah, Action Comics
Demon
annual for 2022. Also, Batman is getting his annual for 2022. Some of the key books I pointed out this week, definitely the Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. I
Yes.
think it's 5 different storylines. I read the first one with Cal, not Cal L, John, and I think it's Dick.
Okay.
Yeah. So them talking about, you know, the death of Superman, and Dick's like, you know, well, they've been dead before, you know, that sort of thing, and
Thank
pretty
you.
much, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Also, Omega, Shadow War Omega starts this week as well. I don't know if it's the rebirth or not of who the fuck is that guy? Deathlock? No,
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yeah,
Slade.
Wilson.
Slade Wilson.
Yep.
You know, and it's funny because I seem to recall most recently they've made a new thing where he has a new son who is like a genetically created human made from him and Talia, which, if that's accurate, that would make him Damien's half brother. Which, again, I'm just like, okay, well, that happened.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Also, a graphic novel came out this week, Superman, Son of Kal-El, Volume 1. So I think is it what, the first 15 issues?
probably.
Something like that. But yeah, great read. Superman, Son of Kal, they're doing a great job on it. And on the Marvel side, I saw this. This looks pretty cool. Looks like a reprinting of Marvel Knight, or sorry,
New facsimile.
Nice.
yeah, Moon Knight
Nice.
#1.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And X-Men 92 is continuing.
Okay. I do know that they're still building up to the new Judgment Day storyline. That's the war between I think the Avengers and the Eternals over the X-Men. So I know they're still building that up.
This is
like
also
Jeremy, I'm not really following a lot of Marvel lately. I have to say, but I
Yeah.
will say on the DC side, a solid read a solid recent read has been Superman, Batman, or Batman Superman Bloodlines by Mark Waid, and I think it's Dan Tora. It's a pretty solid, fun read, and it's just nice to see a slightly lighter, team up, because it's one of the world's finest, and it's like, wow, this is, it's a good read. Already the first 3 episodes are in. You already had a crossover with Doom Patrol.
Nice.
You know, Yeah, honestly, I was really surprised. I was like, wow, this is pretty good, But
So
yeah, so
is
I s-
Bloodlines a like a crossover? Because it looks
I'm
like
sorry.
there's
Yeah, I think it is a crossover. It's one of those Batman Superman titles. I think it's called World's Finest. Um, I think Bloodlines is something else, but it's World's Finest, Batman Superman, and yeah, their villain is really interesting. All like the first three episodes, first three issues are pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty filled with a lot of good stuff, but it all moves really nicely. So
nice.
and artwork is really clean. The artist he has working for him, I think it's Dan Mora. Yeah, that's the name, Dan Mora. Very, very nice, very detailed, simple, good stuff. So I definitely recommend that if you guys want to get a chance.
is that the final issue of King Conan coming out there? Because I know Marvel's losing the
Yep.
rights, and forget who's picking it up, but people are kind of stoked and hoping to get something more hardcore, a little more R-rated.
I mean, listen, it didn't. Whenever Conan storylines would come in, it's just one of those where I feel like no matter what, it would always be a little less than if it was with Dark Horse or anybody else. Because while you could still have him be, crushing his enemies left and right, it's still Marvel and it's still
Yeah,
by some extension Disney, so it can't go as in. you know. But I loved him on Savage Avengers. I thought that was really great because it's just nice to see a group of characters under the Avengers platform just fucking shit up, just violent, crazy people. Well, that's me.
I have to say the last Conan I picked up a long time ago is when Todd McFarlane was working on Conan.
Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Did not know
Haven't
that.
read it since.
All right, so
Okay.
Doctor
Well,
Strange, Doctor Doom.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Although technically, I think someone pointed out at one point Doctor Doom wasn't a real doctor, but I don't know if that's canon. So,
Well,
they
Well,
did, but that was a
he's
joke.
definitely gone into school enough. I don't know if he ever got his doctorate.
I just want to point
Not
out, I
100%.
remember that because he shows up in one of those Maestro books that Peter David writes for Marvel, and I believe he made that joke, and I remember writing about it as an article for Screen Rant, and I was just like, why don't we just call him Doom? I feel like that just
Mm,
kind of encapsulates exactly the kind of presence Mr. Dramatic would want. Um, but this was a solid read. Although I have to be honest, when I realized what it was, I have a sad story about this book.
yeah.
I used to own a copy of it, just like that. I had purchased it at St. Mark's Comics before they closed. Now they're back. And I had gotten it signed by both Roger Stern and Mike Mignola. But then I was an idiot and I loaned it to a friend to read because I thought she'd be interested in reading it. And then we stopped being friends, and this became a very bitter casualty / loss. And I have constantly been kicking myself about it because I mean, Roger Stern goes a lot, but Mike Mignola. I mean,
You couldn't make up for like a weekend? Just a weekend, Drew?
Jeremy, let me put it this
Bottle
way.
of Jaeger?
Jeremy, let me put it this way. I'm gonna quote Mystery Men right now, and when I say is there's not enough beer in the world. Okay.
so this book is it's going for not a ton, but looks like between 50 and 100 raw.
Mhm.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
Yeah.
Or you can go on Amazon and buy it for $275.
That's the way to go.
I'm sorry, what? Now I'm really bitter.
Yeah, there you are.
Now I'm really bitter because that's just and mind you, this wasn't in the best quality, but it was still signed. So by both.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Well, somebody's trying to sell one for $1,300 on eBay.
There you go. I got that Flintstones treasury in the other day.
Mhm.
And the person who has it up for $450 or whatever sent me an offer for like $425. I was just like, thank you, but I got one. It's a little bit not as great as yours, but good enough for me. And I only paid like $11. You have a good day.
Yeah, Jeremy, I can translate that for you. Hold on. Fuck off.
Yeah, that was pretty much. I was like 425. You're insane.
I'll do you one better. Fuck off. I'm good.
I need to learn your ways of sniping, Jar Jar.
Oh, I don't snipe. I have patience. Like people think, like as I said, it took like I don't know 6 months to get that Flintstones one, and like it was just I sit there and search eBay all the time, and once it gets to where I a lot of the times people don't even list them properly, and that's how I find them because I look under like all sorts of different wording to find treasuries, from oversized comics to treasuries to Marvel special editions, DC first editions, blah blah blah. Like
Jeremy, what you have to do is you have to make up some lessons, but after each one for Leo, you just have to tell him this is the way, or I have spoken. You just have to finish it and just I have spoken.
I'm gonna actually, because Leo let out that he's into vintage Atari video games, so I'm gonna hunt down a vintage Atari video game for Leo for like a present to say thank you to Leo for all of
I
this.
can just see. You know what you should do is you should put it in an envelope, and you just at Terrificon you just mob style just slide it across like for your team for your collection, and he just looks at it. Yeah, see, there you go.
That. Whoa. That is pretty.
That is shiny.
Well, I mean, so Atari games, a lot of them you need to rip to get open, like this Pac-Man's ripped at the top. But I've been looking for like cleanish boxes.
Okay.
See, it's ripped in the back. But I'm looking for games that really meant something to me when I was a kid.
Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug. Pac-Man. I got Frogger on the way.
Wait for Atari?
Yeah. Yep.
Yo, that when I was a kid, my dad had one, and I remember trying to wake up early just so I could get ready for school, so I could just have 5 minutes playing Frogger on the Atari. And nice. when I tell you that was such a neon, simplistic contraption of frog holocaustism. My God, that was that. I really did my best to get that frog home safe, and every day I walked home. I walked to the bus of failure.
Kids today don't know the struggle of how defeating video games used to be.
Yeah,
there were no saves. There were no.
Listen, it took me an embarrassing amount of time when I had my first PlayStation to actually finish the first Spyro, because I couldn't do it. It took me years before I finally finished the whole game.
Spyro the Dragon was cool.
Yeah.
I liked those, like the Crash Bandicoots and stuff. That. They were hard.
I still never finished those games because eventually at some point I was like, fucking hell.
I've never finished the original Super Mario Brothers. I've made it to 8-1, and that is as far as I can make it. I'm a failure.
Why don't you just let Leo bane you right now? Just bend his knee and just. But so I will say this: I still reread this despite my bitterness. It's still great. I mean, it's still such a great classic read. Um, and it's funny because a lot of people will remember Roger Stern because he did a lot in the DC in the '90s. He did a lot of Superman. He did a lot of Superman. He did a lot of Supergirl. Just basically action comics, Superman titles. And Mike Mignola, who at that time was still Michael Mignola, you would see occasionally doing things. I always found it really random that you would just see a Marvel title or a DC title, and there would just be a Mike Mignola cover. And it was still early, so the style wasn't, what would become Hellboy. But you could see those, Mignola isms, like how he draws, corpses or hands or expressions. It was always spooky covers too. Like I remember seeing him on like Batman, of course, Daredevil, and then he would like end up on like doing other ones. Like, oh, it's him doing Action Comics. Like I think at one point he did a DC event with Jim Starlin called the Cosmic Odyssey, which you're thinking like, oh my god, like a Mike Mignola event. It's pretty decent if we ever get a chance to review it, but it's just like so crazy because you're thinking like the guy who created Thanos and the guy who created Hellboy. You're like, what? Even in this, you can see like, that Hellboy style developing. It's still not there, but it's still, you can see it. It's solidifying. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Hey, thanks, Tom.
But I mean, again, still a great read. I mean, I'm interested to see what you guys thought of it.
So,
I adored this. This was it to me. It's like a double origin story with like a battle going on. Like you get Doom's and Strange's origins retold, and the art and the way the story is told, it's fantastic. Although I have to say the way to become Sorcerer Supreme, little little bit weird, a little bit easy. All these guys like for these great sorcerers, and all of them are just like, oh, pew, pew, and then Strange is just like, hold on a second. I'm like, oh, and that's it. Oh, he wins. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I did some digging, and
And does Doom's metal face have expressions?
Not really.
Because there's so many times that it looks like his face is just like, I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Like he looked like he was frowning. Go back a page or two, Liam.
Yeah,
right there, that top panel on the right hand side. He looks like he's frowning.
He has perpetually a frowny face.
Yeah, but in this shot here, he's like yelling.
Yeah.
While having a thought bubble.
It's also interesting. Just again, if you pay attention to the Mignola isms, one of the most distinct ways is how he draws hands. They're very, nobody else draws hands like him. And then, like the way that he also draws with shadows. I mean, again, these are things that would become staples of Hellboy. And it's funny because his style was what they based a lot of Atlantis, the Last Empire, off of back in the day. And when they, when the animator showed it to him, they're like, oh, he's like, oh, this kind of looks familiar. He said, yeah, they're basically it's your style. Those are your hands. But again, I felt like rereading it that there are two different storylines coexisting here. You have the battle to be the Sorcerer Supreme, and then you have freeing Doom's mother.
Yeah. It also
And
Marvel's got once again another anti-hero. Like
Mhm.
Marvel
And
has a million anti-heroes.
hey, look, hey, look, Leo, it's the real Mephisto.
Yeah,
I know. I was going to bring that up.
he was getting
Um,
it on.
I just want to say, not being a avid Marvel reader, learning that Latvia adores Doom.
Oh yeah,
Is it? I thought it's Latveria. Is it
yeah, it's
Latveria?
Liberia.
You know me and pronunciations.
Yeah,
I fuck things up.
it's okay.
Boris is very happy with Doom.
Listen, Leo. You just, I understand, man. It's the Lincoln Park in you. You
Yep.
try so hard, but in the end, it didn't really matter because you were still alive. Moving on.
Cameron says Doom. So in my research, I've only found one other instance with Doctor Strange and well, actually, not even Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme and
Mhm.
Doom battling, and apparently it's a recent storyline with a new Sorcerer Supreme. But I couldn't find any other meetings with Doctor
No.
Strange and Doctor Doom.
What about during like Secret Wars or anything? They didn't.
Well, I think being as Leo is that, again, that's why this worked so well is because you don't really think of Doctor Doom as a magical villain. He's very much been framed as the perpetual Fantastic Four villain. You know what I mean? With his Doombots and his machines, showing off his genius. Later, in the later years, they started to really highlight his commitment to the dark arts. So and to be quite honest, I've always felt that Doctor Doom is truly one of Marvel's greatest threats because he kind of can do it all, which is also nice
He has
because,
a command of science and magic.
right. And what for this is that this was a rare moment where we see that despite his ridiculous ego and arrogance, he's still a human being. He still has feelings. There's still heart to him. I mean, Stephen Strange knows that this guy is bad news, but here he is going literally to hell with Doom to rescue his mother's soul. I mean, it's great. And of course, that just gives Mignola more chance to just draw demons and whatnot.
Crows.
Yeah,
Beautiful
crows.
crows.
Crows the size of eagles.
It's just again, it's just extremely well done. And
I have to say, this is probably only. I can't think of any other Mephisto stories I've actually read where like Mephisto is the main villain.
yeah, it's in the he's always been either one of those behind the scenes characters that pops up in the end.
Yeah.
Or, and usually you see him around supernatural characters like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, actually, there was a Strange comic a few years ago with him and Ghost Rider, Damnation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because it wasn't until One More Day that you saw him really play the role. Although recently he did play a huge part in the Marvel sort of reboot, not really, Heroes Reborn. When that storyline happened, the entire Marvel world had changed, and it was primarily due to Mephisto. And even worse is that there is an entire multiverse of Mephistos, which is just, if you think about that, I mean, one devil is bad enough, but imagine a council of Ricks, but they're all the devil. Like, terrifying. This image right here, if Leo scroll down a little bit, with Doom over his mother's statue, I mean, that's classic Mignola, but it is just powerful.
There's another one of those faces. I'm like, what's going on
that.
with Doom's face?
You know, look at that, man.
Oh,
That is just
mother.
intense. Mother. Like, that is just beautiful. Again, you got to really admire the way that he just plays with shadows, you know. And again, the way, like, another great thing about this thing is, you know, yes, you have the 4 to 6 panels a page mindset, which, you know, comics look at, but the way that they organize it, like, it just moves so well, you
Yeah,
know.
this was easy to read and follow which way the panels and wording went. Not a
Yeah,
problem.
because sometimes it's just like it's tightly regimented, or they're just going like somewhere, like when they just jump around so much, you're like, could you maybe have provided arrows? Sometimes I
Yeah.
find that it's, um, it was just, this was such a good read.
I have to say, I didn't notice that there were so many panels without actual dialogue because, like, as you're looking at them, it feels like there's wording going on.
It it had a kind of cinematic feel like that, I think, you know, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times you see a lot of comics, Jeremy and Leo, I'm sure you can back me up, that there's just so much words, you know, like you have to find that nice balance where you tell enough, but you also let the artist show enough. And when you have a creative team that just works, you know, you get magic.
Well, definitely so this came out in 89.
Mhm.
Definitely the earlier books. Since I've been doing this with you guys, I've definitely noticed that, like, especially like the earlier X-Men, it's like it's reading so much friggin' dialogue that's unnecessary.
Or are you talking like Claremont era?
Oh, Claremont is. You should talk to Claremont in person. Whew. He is wordy.
Yeah, he is. Like, well, the thing with Claremont is that he liked it that every issue you wouldn't have to read the one before. You could just,
Yeah.
you know, he was very big on that. And to his credit, that actually does work because, you know, again, you didn't have to read what happened before. They would just kind of summarize up. I mean, Stan Lee used to do that with Spider-Man
Yep.
a lot. True believers, Spider-Man is now trapped in the peril of Mysterio. Um,
We
Future
gotta have
tense.
him and Brandon just do voices back
Oh
and
yeah.
forth.
oh, listen, I'm still convinced that Brandon is somehow some like multiverse extension of me. Because when I met him, I was like, no, there's too
I've
many
never
versions
seen you
of
two
him.
in the same room.
You can ask Leo; it's pretty funny. Sometimes I actually am quieter because I let him do his thing. But then when we're going back and forth, it just it's something. Like Leo is basically doesn't even talk. He's like, I'm just gonna wait and just ring the bell.
Oh, by the way, like if they've got to do this little Sorcerer Supreme thing every 100 years, why did they destroy the temple?
Oh, that's a
Like
good question.
he's like the temple of he goes down and he dusts it off and then he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna knock
I,
it down.
I think what I also loved is that you had the Age King is, you know, you see that a lot of times people assume that magic will always keep you immortal. Everything you see, that character, he is still all powerful, but he's clearly losing his mind. You know, he's
Well,
clearly old enough where he's experiencing what looks to be like dementia. And he's got his aide who's always like, oh, please eat something. He's like, no, I had that hours ago. That was 10 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Like, nonsense. Um, Again, you know, this is just a solid classic read. You don't really need to know too much about the characters. Um, it was just nice to see a kind of horror, spookier tale that, like Jeremy pointed out, hasn't really been done again. Like, it's a true one shot.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen this referenced again. You know, it's kind of it kind of, I don't want to say fell by the wayside. It just kind of is in a category of its own. You know, like
And
it's the
yet
kind of thing
holds
that
like a actual like continuity in it. Like,
Yeah. And I think it's the kind of thing that if you found in a bookstore, like where comic or not, you'd be like, oh, okay. And you'd flip through it
oh yeah.
and you'd actually read it, you know?
Yeah, I think the art jumps enough for like even not the average comic reader would pull up and be like, "Oh, hi, what's this?"
Well, I think now the draw, like if they were to reprint it, they would definitely play on the fact that Mike Mignola is,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But having met both of them, they are extremely pleasant in person. And Roger Stern is such a pleasant man. And Mike, I mean, God, still can't believe I got to meet him. Just so funny. But they're very good with their fans. There's not really much of an ego there. So, you know, this is a solid read, and it's nice to remember where Marvel was. You know,
I agree,
It's-
Frey. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying I kind of wish that we could take a couple of pages from that in the modern day and age, because there is, I feel, something lost there. But that's just me being a nostalgic old fuck.
Well, I agree that I really enjoyed this read. I love that it was a one shot. Everything was all self inclusive. You didn't have to. It wasn't like a 40-issue crossover or anything like that. It was just all
That
self
ends with the
contained.
cliffhanger.
No, and it covered multiple storylines. You had, like Jeremy said, you had the two origin stories along with the battle for the Sorcerer Supreme, and along with saving Doom's.
Yeah,
You did a
totally.
lot in such a short span of time, and just really well done.
Sorry
Agreed.
about that. My dog.
That's fine. But no, like I said, solid read. I'm sorry that our other co-host
Yeah.
a little bit couldn't make it. I'm sure he would have had good things
Well,
to
I would
say.
like to have known what his thought, because he wasn't feeling a lot of the art of Manolo's stuff on the Batman until after Batman had left. I really appreciated the art on the Strange, and I would have liked to see if he concurred.
Listen, I thoroughly enjoy any time Mignola was either writing or arting,
I
or
like
doing
that.
art thing.
I'm arting.
And
Arting.
I will also say this: if we ever get a chance, he did a fantastic Elseworlds crossover called "The Doom That Came to Gotham." That was essentially Batman mixed with Lovecraftian lore. It's a 3-issue. It's really fucking good. Like it was made, during when Elseworlds ran supreme. It's 3 issues, but let me tell you, wow, the reinvention of the Batman villains, Batman, his characters. Oh, it's great. Like that's definitely something I recommend we do in the fall. Totally. But back to this, always great. I really wish at some point I would love to see someone reference this to kind of be like, "Hey kids, remember this?" Who knows? Some. But
Well, I mean, we need more Mephisto references.
Oh, definitely. Especially right now. Hashtag more
Listen,
Mephisto.
Leo, you cannot
Did
blame
you say-
everything on Mephisto. Okay, you can't. You just can't.
We can try. We can try. And Jar Jar, did you say more Mephisto?
More Mephisto.
Oh, more
Hashtag-
Mephisto.
Hashtag.
Okay, I
Hashtag
thought
more
you were
Mephisto.
combining Morbius with Mephisto, because what is
Oh.
the whole Morbius like cult now? I see so many memes about Morbius.
Because it's awful.
I haven't seen the movie. I don't know. I'm
Listen,
staying out of
Leo,
that one.
Leo, if comic book movies want to tank, I think they'll just offer Jared Leto a role in it. That's just it's like okay, we want this movie to be mediocrely awful. Let's cast Jared Leto in somebody. He's just going to really in for no apparent fucking reason. Like you see him and he is shredded, and I'm just like he's shredded for no apparent reason. And I'm just like,
well, it's keeping up with his cult. You just
yeah, I think I saw someone made a meme where it looked like he was transforming, and he said it's Morbin time.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, that Morbin time is
and he was paired against Venom, and I was just like, I can't. I was like, can we? I was like, no, just no, just no.
There was one meme I saw where they took the Endgame poster and changed all the faces to Morbius for some stupid reason.
Very nice.
Guys, get a better hobby. There is one thing I forgot to bring up in terms of new stuff. I didn't know if you guys are caught up. I still haven't caught up with it. Stranger Things season 4.
I've only watched the first episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it so far.
I haven't watched any of it. I'm going in as always with moderate expectations. I've heard good things. I've heard nothing but good things. Some small gripes here or there. But
the haircuts are beautiful for the 80s.
I will say that I do think, and you guys back me up on this if you think if you agree, I think that's one of the shows where it's been consistently good the whole run.
Yeah, I could have done without season 2 myself, but the rest of it was great.
Season 2 is actually where I fell off. I enjoyed season 1, and I did not finish season 2.
Season 3 is great.
Okay.
Hey, excuse me. First things first. Okay, that's the one where, if I'm correct, isn't that the one? Season 2 is when they're dressed up like Ghostbusters.
No, that's 3.
That's 3.
Wait, is it 3?
No.
What happened there? Oh, we all went lost for a second.
Maybe it was
season.
2.
But
it's definitely 2
for a while?
because they're still.
Or no, what's it? 3?
No, it's definitely 2 because they were still commenting about how Will had quote unquote died and come back to life and whatnot, and we hadn't seen the Mind Flayer yet. We were dealing with that, so it's season 2 because season 3, that's when we have that. We have him come in as more of the villain. We have Billy show up. Everything. Leo, I'm not gonna lie, you should give it another shot because the season 3 had some real. It turned the action
never-ending
up.
story song.
I will say this, Leo. If you like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, season 3 had those kind of vibes.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Okay, you know what, Leo? Listen, you can't like everything, and that's fine, and we're not going to judge you for it. But I might judge you like 2%.
I don't even think I finished season 2 and I watched season 3. So I think you'd be okay just skipping. I'm telling you, I don't think you need season 2.
Okay.
Plus, there's a recap page, so
Yeah.
We'll catch you up.
I liked season 3. It felt more like season 1 to me. Like season 2, I felt like we stepped away from all the great nostalgia of the show and went to just scary stuff.
Well, I will say this. I don't mind the nostalgia, but I do feel that you have to be careful because the last thing you want is to make that a crutch. And then you get lazy writing as a result of it.
I agree.
Again, we're definitely seeing a lot of nostalgia, but I don't mind it. But at the same time, I do like it when it's something new. Like it can be inspired of, it can still be its own thing. But again, Hollywood, they know nostalgia is going to sell because suckers like us, oh my God, I love that when I was a kid. I'm going to go watch it. You're like,
I am slightly confused. One character is wearing a chain wallet, and it's supposed to be 1986. And I'm pretty sure we didn't start doing the chain wallets till the early 90s. Am I wrong on that?
No, because I remember in grade school.
Really? You were
He
that
had a,
cool?
he had a chain. He had
No,
a
no,
chain.
no. I wanted to be that cool.
Oh,
I
I didn't get one until after high school, so
no,
like
I
I
got
wasn't cool at all.
I got the what was it the black wristband with the spikes.
Oh,
Look at
were
Mr.
you
Badass
goth?
here in grade school.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
also
that,
yeah, I remember going into that store because they also had a Voltron in the back that I so wanted, but it was too expensive.
you,
I
you, you
think
you
that
couldn't mow enough lawn.
does that go with the wristband with the spikes, the Voltron?
No,
And
but
Like,
it was a expensive toy store, and I couldn't get, you know,
how much was it?
I don't remember. I just remember the only thing I could like get was the wrist with the spikes.
I was kind of shocked today. I was at Walmart and I saw this like 7 to 10 inch Alien and Predator figure that are only $10, and I was,
Really?
Nice.
yeah, I was kind of impressed. I was like, at $10,
You know,
wow.
it's funny, Leo. You remind me. I remember when I was a kid, like growing up in the '90s, I was obsessed with Power Rangers, and I remember I tried tricking my grandmother into buying a Dragon Zord, and of course they talked to my parents, and my mom was just like, "Nice try." The answer's still no. And I was like, "Damn." Again, as a kid, you think you're so fucking crafty, like you're writing the rules for the game, and then you realize you are a fish in a pond. You you are not ready for the ocean, little barracuda. Um,
Speaking of growing up with things, Jar Jar, you've inspired me to peruse eBay. I just put in some low bids for a couple things,
Whoa,
including.
go slow, Leo. You don't put in your bids
yeah.
till the last
Well,
7 seconds.
Oh, that was my mistake.
Jeremy, guide
Yeah.
him. He
Don't
needs
let
it.
them know that you're wanting it, and like you can watch it,
Okay.
but at the
Yeah.
last 7 seconds, that's when you
Listen,
like. I had let somebody know about a Muhammad Ali versus Superman going because I already have it signed by Adams, and I saw it was going for like $30, and I told this person about it, and they blew their load right away, and it sold for like 85 or something. I was like,
Leo,
whoa,
what you got to do? This is
whoa.
like TLC. You got to creep, but instead of creep, you got to swoop,
Oh
baby,
yeah.
swoop.
You give them
Yeah.
that 7 seconds, and like they think they're done. They're kind of like celebrating, and then all of a sudden they
Yeah,
see
and
the number.
then Leo Pond in for the steal.
Yeah, the anxiety comes in. They're
Ooh,
all
look
like
at that!
Yeah.
Look at that, Raiders Atari.
2,600. Look at that. Damn.
I'm sorry, how
I don't
much?
think I've ever played Raiders.
Oh, I spent so much time playing Raiders.
Wow, that's not bad, Leo.
No.
See, my stepdad picked up Pole Position and Foo Fighter, and he loved those two games. So that's pretty much what I played for the first year I owned it.
Yeah.
So, gents, would you say that we're kind of done? So we should probably wrap it up.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we are starting to go down that rabbit hole. So I was like, let me be the voice of reason. So
Yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
you've now seen it all.
Whoops.
It's okay. See,
Streaming
Leo,
live.
you got to pace yourself. See,
I know.
You gotta,
I know. But well, now I know the secrets. You got to watch, and then like right at the last minute.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
if
swoop.
I'll show next time we're hanging out, I'll show you my watch page. It's like 5 pages long, and
Oh, wow.
like I normally I'm just checking the watch to see if anything like a lot of sellers will send you offers if
Oh.
you're watching, and
Leo, this guy is like Shawshank Redemption. He's our red. He was like, he's the guy we talked to. We want to get something. We want to find something. Like, can you acquire it? He's like, I got you.
I got you,
he's
yeah.
Cheeseburger Eddie in The Longest Yard right here.
I'm
He's
telling you, a lot of my books come from my brownies too. Like I trade brownies for them. Like,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
You know what? In that case, everybody wins. Am I right?
Yes.
I still have to send you my address. That just reminds me. I still gotta, because I gotta make this summer even more lit.
You should have seen
I
the cookies I made today. I did these little trays inside the squares, and they're beautiful.
I got it. I have to establish this ground rule. We cannot do that while we're at Terrific Con because that's too much. Jeremy, you do
no.
whatever you want.
No,
But
I smoke and walk around just to stay at baseline, but
yeah, me, I don't want to eat half a brownie and then suit up as dead poo. That's gonna get real weird real quick. But probably I feel like I'll sweat it out because that costume's hot. But whatever. So the point being is,
it would probably make it react faster.
so how do you want to rate this?
Oh yeah. I
Do we
thought,
do
can I go
4s?
first?
Yeah.
Yes, you go first, Pumpkin.
I'm gonna go 4.25. It
Okay.
was fantastic, but there were a few corny moments. But I didn't mind the corny moments because they kind of fit into the story. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Leo?
and I loved the art. The art was great for this.
I'm going to go with a solid 4 myself. It was nice and short. I loved that. The story was great. And the artwork, it was good. I wasn't in love with it. But it was pretty good.
You're a hard ginger to please.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, let Ginger Beard be the final vote.
Mm.
I'm gonna give it, for me, I'm also gonna give it a 4.45. I love the story. I love the artwork, obviously. I love the self-contained nature of it. Yes, it does have its cheese, but it also has its heart. And
Yes.
honestly, I would recommend this to anybody who wants a nice, simple one-shot that, to me, felt very cinematic. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. There was no cliffhanger.
And
You could
just when
reference
you-
it if you want, or you could leave it alone.
And just when you think Doom's going exactly the way you thought he would go anyways, he's just like, no,
Mhm.
it's pretty
So,
good.
Indeed. So that's that. So Leo, you do your sign off.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely check show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. For me, you can just Google Leo Pond. Find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network, a lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the latest episodes for all the shows on the network. And Jar Jar.
I'm going to say go check out Velvet Joker on Facebook and Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction on Facebook. Yay! Woo.
Oh, Drew.
Thank you.
Where's the
My name is
pillow?
Drew. And when I'm not being Drew, I'm also Ghostbuster Man 1984. I'm also on Facebook. I do things with the Dorkening, splash pages, the whole hubbubaloo. I'm very busy. But I still have time for this show, and in some extension, I still have time for you. But don't get it twisted. I'm still really busy. So if you send a message and I don't respond, it's not that I don't love you. It's that I don't have time for this.
Love it. With that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Good night.
Tuesday.